Welcome to a deep
Okay.
dive into a world that's, I think a lot of people are familiar with on the surface.
Right.
Um, but we're going to try to take it a little
Yeah.
deeper today. And this is the world of cyber physical systems, or
CPS.
CPS.
That's right.
And we
Yeah.
have a lot of sources here. We have some academic papers.
Hmm.
We have some tech reports, even a little snippet from a textbook,
Cool.
just to kind of give everybody a really good grounding in what this is,
Yeah, this will be fun.
how it's evolving, and where it's going.
Yeah. You know what's really interesting is that this isn't just some
Yeah.
far off, sci-fi concept.
Right.
CPS is shaping so much of how we live and work right now.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't even realize it when
Yeah.
they think about
Yeah.
like a smart thermostat in their house,
Right.
or
Oh, totally.
or even
Like a
like an Alexa.
like smart speaker, even. Yeah, those are all
That's all CPS,
CPS in action.
right? So we've got the basic idea, but our sources dive a lot deeper into how this field is evolving.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about a shift from CPS 1.0 to 2.0 and beyond.
Right.
What does that even mean?
Well, imagine you're explaining the internet to someone from the 90s,
Okay.
right? They might get the idea of email
Okay.
and websites,
Yeah.
but they wouldn't grasp the world of social media or streaming or smartphones.
Right.
It's kind of like that
Yeah.
that leap from 1.0 to 2.0.
Okay, so things that were like
Yeah.
cutting edge just a few years ago.
Exactly,
Yeah.
are now foundational for this next wave.
Yeah, it's something completely new.
That's right. And we're talking about
So what are we talking about? Give me some specifics.
technologies like 5G and even 6G,
Yeah.
which could be thousands of times faster.
Wow.
Imagine downloading a whole movie in seconds.
Jeez.
And then there's the integration of AI holographic communication and these mind-bending concepts like the metaverse and the multiverse,
the metaverse and multiverse.
where the digital and physical truly merge.
Okay.
It's a lot to wrap your head around.
I mean, you're really taking me there. I'm like,
Yeah, it's a lot.
putting on my 3D glasses right now.
Yeah.
But what really stood out to me in chapter 2 of our source, Cyber Physical Systems 20,
Yeah.
is how crucial communication is in all this.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, that seems to be a real theme.
Yeah, think of CPS like a symphony orchestra. You've got all these different instruments, the physical components.
Okay.
And the music they create is the desired outcome,
Okay.
but they can't play in harmony without a conductor.
Okay.
And that's where communication comes in.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right.
So it's like the central nervous system of the whole thing.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
But as with any orchestra, there can be some off notes,
Sure.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Our source talks about challenges like latency, which is basically delays in data transmission
Right.
and even data loss.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds like a recipe for disaster,
It can be.
especially when you think about self-driving cars or other time-sensitive systems.
Imagine the conductor giving cues a few beats too late.
Oh,
The whole performance could fall apart.
yeah.
In the CPS world, that could mean a self-driving car reacting too slowly
Oh my gosh.
to avoid an obstacle.
Yeah, that's a little scary.
It is.
So I mean, how do they? I mean, are
Right.
they able to?
They're using all sorts of
Yeah.
clever strategies to ensure reliable communication,
Yeah.
even in imperfect conditions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one concept that caught my attention was the age of information, or AOI.
Right.
It's basically a measure of how fresh the data is in a system.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that so important?
Think about relying on yesterday's weather forecast
Okay.
to decide whether to wear a raincoat today.
Okay.
It might rain, it might not, but the information isn't relevant anymore. In CPS, outdated information can lead to wrong decisions.
Uh,
And in some cases, that could be really dangerous.
so you're saying if the data is old,
Yeah.
it's useless,
It could be useless or even worse, it could be harmful.
harmful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Our source even mentions a technique called Markov decision processes, or MDPs.
Right.
Now that sounds pretty complicated.
It is, but think of it like planning a road trip.
Okay.
You've got your destination,
Mhm.
but you also have to account for traffic,
Sure. Detours.
detours, maybe even a stop for gas.
Right.
MDPs are like the algorithm that helps a CPS navigate all those possibilities
Okay.
and choose the best route to achieve its goal.
So it's like ways for ways.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
For CPS.
Yeah, just
So it's all about making sure the right information gets to the right place at the right time.
it is.
But amidst all this exciting innovation, there's a chapter in our source that has a more serious tone.
Oh, yeah.
Chapter 10, which focuses on security and privacy. It feels like a bit of a dark cloud hanging over this otherwise bright future.
Rightfully so. The more interconnected our world becomes, the more vulnerable it is to attack.
So you're saying that basically, like,
Yeah.
you leave the door open,
Yeah.
you're asking for trouble.
Pretty much.
I mean, think about a hacker taking control of a power grid or causing a traffic jam in a smart city.
Right.
I mean, we're not just talking about data breaches here.
We're talking about potentially catastrophic consequences.
Yeah, this is big. This is a big deal.
This is big stuff.
So how do we even begin to protect these systems?
Oh,
I mean, what are the safeguards?
It's a multi-layered challenge.
Okay.
We need to think about everything from the physical security of devices to the software that controls them.
Okay.
Things like strong passwords encryption and systems that detect and respond to intrusions are all crucial.
Okay. So
there's always a but, isn't there?
There's always a but.
Even with the most advanced technology, the weakest link is often human error.
Oh, gosh.
Someone clicking a phishing link or using a weak password can bypass the best security measures.
Yeah, I mean, that's always the case.
Always.
So you're saying education and awareness are just as vital as any technical solution.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we can't just rely on the technology to save us.
We can't just...
We have to be smart about it, too.
We got to be smart ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've got the high-level overview, but let's zoom in on a specific application of CPS.
Okay, let's do it.
Chapter 6 of our source dives into smart machining.
Okay.
And this is where it gets really interesting.
This is cool.
We're talking about a factory floor.
Yeah.
Where machines can essentially monitor their own health and performance.
Imagine a doctor who can constantly monitor your vital signs, predict potential problems, and even suggest adjustments to your lifestyle to keep you healthy.
Got it.
That's what smart machining is doing for manufacturing.
So we're not waiting for something to break down.
Not at all.
We're actually anticipating it.
We're being proactive.
That's amazing.
It is.
So we're using sensors to collect data on everything.
Yeah.
From temperature to vibration, and then AI steps in to analyze that data.
Right.
And make intelligent decisions.
That's right.
It almost sounds like we're giving machines a sense of self-awareness.
In a way, yes, but it's more about creating a feedback loop.
Okay.
Where the machines are constantly learning and adapting to optimize their performance.
Okay, so they're constantly learning.
Constantly learning.
And one algorithm that's been incredibly effective in this is the K-nearest neighbor, or KNN algorithm.
Yes.
It's basically like having a digital expert who can analyze patterns and predict potential issues before they even arise.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's like having a preventative maintenance team.
Exactly.
Built right into the machines themselves.
Built in.
But as we make these systems more intelligent and adaptable, we have to ask, what happens to the human workforce?
That's a crucial question.
It is a crucial question.
And one that we'll definitely be exploring further as we continue our deep dive.
Okay, so stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned.
But before we get there, let's move on to Chapter 7, which focuses on the concept of open architectures for CPS 2.0.
Okay.
Can you explain what that means and why it's so important?
Think about building with Legos.
Okay.
You can create all sorts of structures, but if you need a specific part, you can just grab it from your collection and add it in.
Right.
Open architectures for CPS work in a similar way.
Okay.
They allow for greater flexibility, adaptability, and interoperability, making these systems more scalable and future-proof.
So instead of being locked into a specific vendor or platform,
no more vendor lock-in.
We can mix and match components to create the perfect system for our needs.
That's the idea.
That's great.
Yeah.
And this ties into another fascinating concept from our source, holonic manufacturing.
Yes, this is a really cool concept.
So break it down for me.
It's a system inspired by biological organisms.
Okay.
Where individual components called holons can operate autonomously while still contributing to the overall goals of the system.
Okay. Need an example.
A good example is an ant colony.
Okay.
Each ant has its own task, but they all work together to ensure the survival of the colony.
Okay, so they're all working independently.
They are.
But towards a common goal.
Towards a common goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in a holonic manufacturing system, each machine could theoretically make its own decisions.
That's right.
But they would all be working together to create a more efficient and resilient production process.
Exactly.
That's pretty amazing.
It is. It's a really elegant approach.
And this approach has huge implications for the future of manufacturing.
Huge.
Making it more adaptable and responsive to changes in demand,
Right.
supply chains, or even unexpected events.
Like a pandemic.
Like a pandemic, exactly.
Yeah.
Which we all know a little something about.
We do.
It sounds like we're moving towards a world where the line between the digital and physical is not just blurred, but completely erased.
And that brings us to chapters 8 and 13.
Okay.
Both of which really emphasize the role of data and AI in this evolution.
Okay.
We're talking about collecting and analyzing information at speeds and scales we could only dream of.
Really?
Just a few years ago.
So instead of just reacting to problems,
Yeah.
we can now predict and prevent them.
That's right.
And this isn't just limited to manufacturing.
No, not at all.
We're seeing these concepts applied to everything from energy grids to healthcare systems.
Absolutely. And this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Okay.
As these technologies continue to evolve, we can expect even more profound transformations in how we live, work, and interact with the world around us.
CPS is a pretty big deal.
That's a really big deal.
It's a lot to take in, but one thing is clear. The world of cyber-physical systems is incredibly complex and constantly evolving.
It is. And as we delve deeper, one area that really highlights this convergence is the concept of smart cities.
Yeah.
It's like taking all the principles we've been discussing,
Okay.
connectivity data analysis, intelligent automation, and applying them on a citywide scale.
Now, I'm picturing something straight out of a futuristic movie.
Right.
Flying cars and all.
Yeah.
But our sources paint a picture that's both more realistic and more impressive. They talk about tackling real-world challenges like traffic congestion, pollution, even public safety, all through the lens of CPS.
Exactly. Think about it. A city generates massive amounts of data every second.
Yeah.
From traffic patterns to air quality readings to energy consumption.
Right.
What if we could use that data to make the city run more efficiently and improve the lives of its citizens?
Okay.
That's the core idea behind smart cities.
So instead of just reacting to problems, we're using data to anticipate and prevent them.
Precisely.
It's amazing.
Imagine a smart traffic management system that adjusts signal timings based on real-time traffic flow,
Okay.
reducing congestion and commute times.
Okay. Less traffic.
Less traffic.
I like it.
Or a smart grid that predicts energy demands.
Okay.
And seamlessly integrates renewable energy sources,
That's good.
making the city more sustainable.
So we're talking about like solar panels and wind power.
All of that.
All integrated.
All integrated and working together in harmony.
That's fantastic.
It sounds almost utopian.
It does.
But how do we actually make this vision a reality?
Yeah.
What are the key technologies driving this transformation?
Give me the specifics.
Well, it all starts with sensors.
Okay.
Lots and lots of sensors.
Okay.
We're talking about embedding sensors in infrastructure.
Okay.
Traffic lights, even garbage bins.
Garbage bins.
To gather data on everything from traffic flow to air quality to waste levels.
So we're talking about like putting sensors in everything.
Pretty much.
Wow.
It's like giving the city a nervous system,
Okay.
allowing it to sense and respond to changes in its environment.
So it can react in real time.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
But the real magic happens when we combine that data with AI and machine learning.
Okay, so this is where AI comes in.
This is where AI shines.
We can use these technologies to analyze those massive data sets and extract meaningful insights.
That's right.
So we're talking about AI algorithms that can optimize traffic flow, manage energy distribution, even predict and prevent crime?
Precisely.
Okay, now that's getting a little scary.
It can be, but think of it this way.
Okay.
Imagine an AI-powered system that analyzes crime data to identify patterns and predict potential hotspots.
So it can tell us where crime is more likely to happen.
Exactly.
Nice.
Allowing law enforcement to allocate resources more effectively.
So they can be more proactive.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
Or a system that uses real-time data to help emergency responders navigate to accidents or disasters more quickly.
Wow. So we're talking about saving lives potentially?
Potentially, yes.
Yeah. That's incredible.
Yeah.
It's like we're giving the city a brain to go along with its nervous system.
And the possibilities go far beyond these examples.
Okay, like what?
We're seeing the emergence of smart street lighting that adjusts brightness based on pedestrian traffic.
Wow.
Saving energy and reducing light pollution.
Okay.
We're seeing smart waste management systems
Okay.
that optimize collection routes based on real-time data.
So the garbage trucks know exactly where to go.
Exactly.
And they're not wasting time.
No more wasted time or fuel.
That's fantastic.
improving efficiency and reducing costs.
It all sounds amazing, but I have to ask, what about the people?
Yeah, that's a crucial point.
Are citizens just passive observers in this smart city revolution, or do they have a role to play?
Smart cities aren't just about technology.
Okay.
They're about people.
Okay.
For these initiatives to be truly successful, they need to be designed with citizen engagement in mind.
So we're talking about involving citizens in the decision-making process, giving them a voice in how their data is used.
Yes.
And ensuring that these systems benefit all members of the community.
Transparency, accountability, and inclusivity are essential.
So it's not just about making things smarter. It's about using technology to create a better future for everyone.
You're absolutely right. And as we move further into the 21st century, we can expect this trend to continue. In fact, we're already seeing the emergence of new concepts like cyber physical social systems or CPSS.
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 What's that all about?
Think of it as the next evolution of CPS.
Okay.
It recognizes that these systems don't exist in a vacuum.
Okay.
They operate within a complex social fabric and are influenced by human behavior, values, and interactions.
So we're not just talking about connecting machines and data.
Right.
We're talking about understanding how those connections impact people and society as a whole.
Precisely.
Okay, so give me an example.
How do we design a smart transportation system that's equitable and accessible to everyone, regardless of income or ability?
That's a good question.
How do we ensure that smart city initiatives don't exacerbate existing social inequalities?
So we're not just widening the gap.
Exactly. We want to make sure everyone benefits.
These are the kinds of questions that CPSS seeks to address.
That's right. It's about taking a more holistic view.
Okay.
It sounds like CPSS is taking a more holistic approach.
Yeah.
Recognizing that technology is not just a tool.
Right.
But a force that shapes and is shaped by society.
And as we continue to develop and deploy increasingly sophisticated CPS technologies, it's crucial that we consider these broader societal implications.
Absolutely. We can't just focus on the technical aspects. We need to think about the human impact as well.
Speaking of implications, we can't ignore the elephant in the room.
What's that?
Security and privacy.
Right.
The more interconnected our world becomes, the more vulnerable it is to attack.
It's a trade-off.
And when we're talking about systems that control critical infrastructure, like power grids or transportation networks, the stakes are incredibly high.
They are.
So what are some of the key security concerns in these systems? What keeps you up at night?
Well, one major concern is the increasing attack surface.
The attack surface.
As these systems become more interconnected and reliant on software, there are simply more potential points of vulnerability that attackers could exploit.
So more ways to get in.
More ways to get in, more things to protect.
And we're not just talking about hackers trying to steal data.
No.
We're talking about attackers who could potentially disrupt or even disable critical infrastructure, causing widespread chaos and harm.
Imagine a cyber attack that shuts down a power grid, leaving millions of people without electricity.
Oh, wow.
Or an attack that disrupts transportation systems, causing gridlock and economic damage.
That's scary stuff.
It is.
A sobering thought.
It is.
So what can be done to protect these systems? What are some of the key security measures being implemented?
It starts with a layered approach to security. This means implementing security measures at all levels of the system. From the physical devices themselves to the networks that connect them to the software that controls them. We need to think about everything from strong authentication mechanisms to encryption to intrusion detection systems.
So it's not just about building a wall around the system. It's about creating a series of defenses in depth.
Exactly. Multiple layers of protection.
And it's not just about technology either.
No, it's also about having strong security policies and procedures in place. And training personnel to be aware of security threats.
So the human element again?
The human element is always a factor.
And how to respond to them.
Right. We need to be prepared.
It sounds like a constant cat and mouse game.
It is.
As attackers become more sophisticated, we need to constantly adapt our security measures to stay ahead of the curve.
That's right. Security is not a one-time fix. It's an ongoing process.
And as CPS becomes more prevalent in our lives, We need to make sure that security and privacy are top priorities.
Absolutely, we can't afford to be complacent.
This has been a pretty intense journey so far.
It has.
We've covered so much ground, from the evolution of CPS and the rise of smart cities to the crucial considerations of security and privacy.
It's a lot to take in.
It is.
But it's clear that CPS is a double-edged sword.
Okay, explain that.
On the one hand, it has the potential to revolutionize our world, making our cities smarter, our industries more efficient, and our lives easier.
Right.
But on the other hand, it brings new challenges, particularly in the areas of security and privacy that we need to address if we want to reap the full benefits of this technology.
So we need to be careful.
We need to be mindful.
But we also need to be excited.
Absolutely. There's a lot to be excited about.
You've hit the nail on the head. CPS is a powerful force that is already reshaping our world.
It is.
And as we move forward, we need to be mindful of both its potential and its perils.
Right.
We need to work together to ensure that CPS is developed and deployed in a way that benefits all of humanity.
I think that's a great goal to strive for.
It feels like we've only just scratched the surface, yet it's already clear that CPS is about so much more than just making things smart.
Right.
It's about this intricate dance between the physical and digital with all sorts of implications we're only beginning to grasp.
And one of the key partners in this dance is artificial intelligence. AI is becoming essential in making these systems not only smarter, but more resilient and adaptable.
Our sources dive into some pretty cutting-edge AI techniques that are being used to tackle this challenge. One that really stood out to me was something called distributionally robust optimization, or DRO.
DRO, yeah.
It sounds incredibly complex.
It is a mouthful, isn't it? But the idea behind DRO is actually pretty straightforward.
Okay.
Imagine you're designing a bridge. You wouldn't just build it to withstand the average wind speed, right?
Yeah.
You'd consider the strongest gusts, the potential for earthquakes.
Yeah, all the what-ifs.
All those what-if scenarios.
Yeah.
DRO does something similar for CPS.
Okay, so instead of designing for the best-case scenario, we're designing for all sorts of uncertainties, even those low-probability, high-impact events.
Exactly.
I could really throw things off.
That's right. And that's where AI comes in.
Okay.
By analyzing mountains of data and running countless simulations, AI algorithms can help us identify potential vulnerabilities and develop strategies to mitigate them.
So it's like giving the system a built-in safety net, allowing it to adapt and keep functioning, even when unexpected events occur.
That's a great way to put it.
Another technique that caught my attention was federated learning, or FL.
Oh yeah, FL is really interesting.
Our sources highlight its potential for protecting privacy, especially in sensitive areas like healthcare.
Think about the vast amounts of data generated by hospitals and medical devices.
Oh, yeah, tons of data.
Traditionally, to train AI models on this data, we'd need to centralize it.
Right, bring it all together.
Which raises all sorts of privacy concerns.
Yeah, you don't want all your medical data just floating around out there.
Exactly. FL offers a way to train these models without ever having to move the data from its original location.
So it's like sending the AI algorithm to the data rather than the other way around.
That's a great way to put it. It's as if you have a team of experts working together to solve a problem.
Okay.
But they never have to meet in the same room or share their confidential notes.
Right.
Each expert, in this case, each device or data source, contributes to the learning process without ever revealing its individual data.
That's incredibly clever.
It is.
It seems like AI is playing a dual role here.
It is.
Enhancing both the capabilities and the safety of CPS.
Absolutely. And this is just the beginning.
Right.
As AI continues to evolve, we can expect even more innovative applications in the world of CPS.
Wow.
It's truly a fascinating time to be witnessing this convergence of technologies.
But amidst all this excitement about AI and automation, I think it's crucial to remember the human element.
Oh, for sure.
These systems are ultimately designed to serve people, and we can't lose sight of that.
Couldn't agree more.
As we become more reliant on CPS, it's crucial to think about the ethical implications and ensure that these systems align with our values.
Absolutely.
So we're talking about things like transparency, accountability, and fairness.
All of that.
We need to ensure these systems aren't biased or discriminatory, and that they're used in a way that benefits all members of society.
Right.
Not just a select few.
It's about equity and inclusion.
And we also need to think about the impact of automation on the workforce.
Yes, this is a big one.
As CPS takes over more tasks, we need to proactively create opportunities for people to learn new skills and adapt to these changing job markets.
Right. We need to invest in education and training.
It's about ensuring that technological progress doesn't leave anyone behind.
Exactly. We want to bring everyone along on this journey.
It's a complex challenge, but one we absolutely need to address head-on.
I agree.
If we want to create a future where CPS enhances our lives, it has to be a future that works for everyone, not just the robots.
Well said.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the world of cyber-physical systems.
It has been a fascinating journey.
It really has.
Exploring the evolution of these systems, the challenges they face, and the incredible potential they hold.
From smart factories and self-driving cars to smart cities and beyond, CPS is transforming our world in profound ways.
It really is.
And as we've seen, it's a field that's constantly evolving, pushing the boundaries of what's possible and raising all sorts of fascinating questions along the way.
And we've only just begun to explore the possibilities.
So to our listeners, we encourage you to stay curious, keep exploring, and continue to question the impact of these technologies on our world.
That's right. Stay engaged.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll see you next time.